Now, my next guest would be very familiar to ausbiz audiences because we have been running the marketing campaign on the development for the Hunter Valley Luxury Hotel in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. So we thought this event was a great chance to bring in Dom Lambrinos and pick his brain on how a private market deal as big as this one comes to fruition. Great to see you in person, Dom. You are the CEO of Hunter Valley Luxury Hotels. Look, we've had a lot of viewers watch this and ask us questions about it. Can you just give us a bit of an elevator pitch about what it is?
Sure. It's been a funny place, the Hunter Valley. It hasn't really had any new developments for a long time. A lot of the development have been acquiring old hotels, some 40 years old, and then refurbishing them. But then you're stuck with an old plan, an old design. So this is an opportunity to build a brand new hotel and really give Sydney and the catchment, being Newcastle and Central Coast and Sydney, 6 million people, an opportunity to come and experience a luxury hotel. And I really don't know of one in the Hunter Valley, and I struggle to think of one within 2 hours of Sydney. So once this is built, hopefully people who want to spoil themselves can come and see what we're doing. So the hotel itself is obviously an uber luxury hotel. But the interesting thing about it, it's in a working vineyard.
Right.
But on top of that, we've now got Gillian Mark, the artist with the rabbit woman and the dog man. They're Australia's most successful artists, and their sculptures are right through the inside and the outside of the hotel. So you have these lovely art tours, lovely gardens, and wonderful restaurants, and even the food is under the stewardship of Justin North, one of Australia's best chefs.
Dom, let's go back into your history. So your expertise very much in property development, building management, in hospitality venues. What are some of the key lessons you learnt in that or from that to bring it to Hunter Valley Luxury Hotels?
Okay. I'm a bit older than that. I started life as a chartered accountant.
Okay. So
just before my 27th birthday, I was a partner.
Yeah.
And at 34, I left, and I wanted a more entrepreneurial life, and I invested in my first hotel. So for the last 30 years, I've been buying, selling, renovating, building, and understanding how to make money out of hotels. And the other side, of course, is the background from accounting. Is all about numbers. So as boring as it does sound, it's all about, for me, cash flows, forecasts, budgets, and building the plan in numbers format. Then, of course, the rest of the journey is trying to get everybody to stick to the numbers.
And how do you then bring into investors? How did you sort of come about, I guess, the process of making this a reality?
Well, I felt all my other hotels I've done on my own. And I felt, being so close to Sydney, it would be interesting for people to have an alternative investment, hence today, right? And the idea is to have something which provides a good return, and it is solid in its construction, in terms of financial construction, but also give people an interesting element with wines. If you're interested in wines, it's a very, very good fun investment to have.
So the minimum, I believe, is 100,000. Just talk us through a little bit more about the structure for investors and how you've set it up that way. Sure.
So there are two parts to it. The first is the quantitative side, and the other is the qualitative. So from a quantitative point of view, I try to, if people put in 100,000, they get 10%. If they put in 250 or more, up 100 to 250 is 10%, 250 to 500 is 11.3%, and 500 more is 12.7%. Now, the more if you take a chance on me, you get a better reward, and many people have. It's been really popular, and the other side that people enjoy is the qualitative side. So the wines that we make, that are made on the estate by Cole Peterson, he makes them. We send it to everybody, during the course of a few times a year. So you enjoy wines that are made from grapes grown on the estate. You get to enjoy dinners with Brian McGuigan and Cole Peterson. And when the hotel's built, we give all our investors and thank them for their help and support by giving them a week's worth of accommodation for the first 3 years.
Okay.
and they can just take that whenever they like. But then they're treated like VIPs. So if the presidential suite's available when you turn up for your booking, that's what you'll go. You know, we really think that's a great to support people who support us.
So what are the risks, or how are the risks mitigated, I guess, for some investors?
Right. So risks is an interesting. It is more risk in this investment than, say, a government bond. You can't. But you know, and then of course the return's higher.
Yeah.
But there was always risk in life. I was driving home last night, and that terrible rain, and it's only 5 kilometres. There were 3 car accidents. So if I could control the environment, I would be able to control the risk. So that's what we do. That's what I think of. I try to find what things I can control, and I box the risk. And then things I can't control, I actually try to create a buffer. We all need buffers in life. So because something always goes wrong, but you just want to make sure that when something goes wrong, everybody's covered. Does that help?
It does. How are you competing for capital, though, particularly when there are, I guess it's a relatively illiquid project?
We are, you know, the people we have on board are amazing. You know, our chairman's John Hewson. We've got, you know, the managing director of Spices works with us now and running, organising the place. We have we have Justin North, we have Gillian Mark, we have some of the best people in Australia working for us. I don't see anyone else having such a great team of people who not only are good at what they do, but they've got a lineage of being successful. So we set ourselves apart with our team from other investors. We also set ourselves apart by being something different. It is a property development,
yeah,
but it is a fun property development, and it ends up having a beautiful property, and people do see that it is a missed opportunity, that not many people have gone into and done this in the Hunter Valley. And I don't think a lot of people have the experience to be able to do a hotel well. And fortunately, I've been doing it for 30 years.
So you've got the experience behind you. The project, though, does involve a new land subdivision. So what are the potential challenges here, particularly if somebody wanted to exit?
Oh, after 3 years, you can exit. Right? And we have the whole thing arranged so it's a refinance at that stage, and you get paid back. The subdivision doesn't affect the exit. It actually improves the asset value of the property. So there is commercial property out there, but there is not enough rustic commercial property in the Hunter Valley, and that's what we want to develop. And then also maybe put some lovely homes that people in these homes can use the hotel facilities and access the commercial facilities. So it all creates an opportunity for improving the value.
All right, some audience questions for you, Dom.
Sure.
Sarah says, which we've touched on, there are some very well-known names involved in this project, perhaps some big personalities. How do you manage all of that expertise, but also, some might say, she says egos, so everyone is working towards the same goal?
I've got to say...
Do you just say wine, that's how you manage it?
Well,
Brian McGuigan comes in.
Well, there's no whining allowed. But look, I must say, I have never seen such a humble group of people. You know, you talk about Brian McGuigan, who has been a world accredited winemaker twice in his life. All the world. From the Hunter Valley, he's mother. Yeah. And he's such a humble man. John Hewson, lovely. Justin North, everybody. I guess I'm good at steering clear of egos. I've been old enough to learn that lesson.
So wine that you drink, not wine with an H, is involved. Right. All right. And Nguyen says, what's the backup plan if you can't raise all the funding that you need to build the project?
Oh, well, at the moment that's not a problem because we have 2 offers. We have 2 people competing for our business.
Right.
So, and you see, when you understand, if I was building a block of apartments in Paddington, you'd have everybody coming. But a hotel in Australia is not the most popular asset to finance. And yet, I've got 2 major funders competing for the business. And we'll choose one Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. Well, I guess, Dom, if we've covered everything you wanted to mention, I just wonder if you've got any final comments for those watching.
I just think, the structure of the investment's important to just dab on for a second.
Yeah.
So, there are different ways to invest. Sometimes it's equity and shares, and these are called promissory notes, and they're a loan. So they're secured. If something goes wrong, they're secured. So it's secured against a property, if I should say, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, that's important. And the reason I use promissory notes, if you use sort of things like shares and things like that, it's hard to get out of shares. And as soon as you sell, state revenue wants their stamp duty and the government wants their capital gains tax. But with promissory notes, you can just come in and out. And you get paid your interest each month, like as we do. Like 2 or 3 days before the end of the month, you get your monthly interest. And it's much more flexible. And then when it comes time to get repaid, much easier.